In this lesson, we'll go over some brush presets as well as creating our own brush. Now things are getting just a little bit messy, so I'll go ahead and just clear all the layers by hitting the trash can button and go ahead and create a new layer. So far we've been painting with the default brush settings. Now Painter has several brush presets that you can choose from that are located in the shelf. I'll just expand this a little bit and go to the brushes, and we can pick one of the dirt brushes by double clicking on it. I'll just adjust the base color to something a little bit more of a dirt look and also increase the roughness. Now we can begin painting with a dirt brush. Now there's a host of cool brushes to test out. So let's just say that you're working on a character and you want to add some stitches. There is the stitching brush, which is really awesome. So what these brushes are presets that are saved into the shelf. If you want to configure your own brushes, these parameters are located in the Properties panel. As I scroll up top, you'll find the parameters for your brush settings. So right now I'm using the stitching brush. To go back to the default brush in the shelf, under brushes, you just want to choose the default soft. So looking here, you have your standard brush settings like size, which will make your brush larger or smaller. Now the hotkeys for adjusting the brush size are the bracket keys. Flow will adjust the amount of paint coming out of the brush, so you'll get more of an airbrush effect. So the spacing will allow you to space out your brush strokes, which is great for doing things like rivets and repeating details. Now, looking at the windows up top by the parameters, we can actually paint in this area to preview our brush settings. So I'll just lower my brush size, increase the flow back up, and just start brushing within the window. So you'll see that we have a preview of our brush. Of course, you can always just paint on the mesh to preview your brush. To the right of this is also the preview of the material that I'm currently painting with, which will update whenever we adjust our material settings. Now we also have a host of jitter options if you want to scatter your brush strokes. Next, the shape of the brush is controlled by the alpha applied. Currently with this default soft preset, the alpha is a soft round image. Now Painter comes with a lot of alphas that you can use on your brush, which are found within the shelf. So I'll go to the shelf, and in the alpha category, we can go ahead and just try the drips alpha by double clicking on it. Now that our alpha is applied, we can start painting some cool drips onto the model. So let's go and create our own brush preset this time. So one thing that I like to do for hard surface texturing is create a hard brush for edge chipping. So what I'll do is remove the alpha so we have a square brush. I'll adjust the size to something smaller, and I think I'll lower the spacing, and we'll add some size jitter as well as the angle and increase the position jitter. So I'll just test it on the mesh, and we can just keep adjusting this until we're happy with it. Now to save this off to the shelf, we can right click in any open area in the Properties panel and choose Create Brush Preset. So this will immediately show up within the shelf, and by right clicking on it, we can rename this. I'll just rename this to Paint Chip. And we'll come back to this brush in a later lesson when we do our paint wear. So at any point, when you create a brush that you like and you think you're going to use it over and over, save it to your shelf for later use. Next, we'll have a look at the particle brushes.